Hey, welcome to episode 3 of Realtors Influencing Realtors. I'm with Ayden Maines. My name's Travis Anderson. Let's dive right in. Hey, Ayden, tell me about your first year in real estate.
My first year in real estate was so I got licensed 2020. And so it was in the pinnacle of COVID, which was, interesting in itself. And I was getting licensed, but still telling people like, hey, I'm going to become an agent, letting you know. And our childhood neighbor, her daughter was wanting to sell her home. So that was our first listing. And that was during Thanksgiving, negotiated the whole thing during Thanksgiving. That was fun. But the first year was interesting because I grew up around real estate. That was kind of all I knew, being that my mom was in the industry forever. And we ran from it. I was like, I don't want to join real estate. I went to school for interior design. So that's what I wanted to do. And then 2020 hit, everything shut down. My mom was like, you want to become an agent? I was like, no. Then I became an agent. And then first year we sold, I want to say 10, 12 homes, something like that. That's when I learned I like buyers a lot. Listings were not my jam necessarily at the time because I felt it was a lot more fun to go view homes than stick with your home. I thought it was a lot more activity happening. And so it was fun. It really met nothing that I expected. I was expecting it to be a little bit more. There was a lot of people learning that I had to encounter of just managing expectations, managing emotions, managing everything. Because one house would have 36 offers on it, waived everything. And then another home would sit for 3 weeks. And so kind of comparing those. So my first year was a lot of learning, a lot of being a student and listening to everybody and asking for a lot of advice. I had a lot of agents pour into me, which I'm super grateful for. Because it very much set up the trajectory of where I am now. So I did a lot of open houses. That was my jam. I just liked it because when I started out in interior design, I was working at International Market Square in Minneapolis. So I got to see a lot of people. So it was almost like I was honing my craft before I knew it was needed. And so open houses, I would host minimum of 3 a weekend, just because I wanted to make sure because my pipeline, we come from a family of realtors and there's a lot of saturation in our sphere of influence. And a lot of people want to go to certain agents because they know them. So I didn't have a lot to tap into at the time when we started. And so I keep saying we because of the family dynamic. But I would say that open houses were a big deal. And every open house I did, I kind of had it threefold of doing social media and then door knocking. I hated door knocking because we got yelled at one time. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. They were like, you need a permit. I was like, no, you don't. You did it. And I checked because I knew that would happen. You didn't need one. Some cities require it, so make sure you follow those guidelines. That one did not. And so that was kind of my craft, is I did a lot of open houses. I did a lot of like social media targeting ads with that through command. And then door knocked and popped by a lot of homes just to say, hey, we're holding an open house. See you soon. And then just following up with those people. Still following up with them, actually, from 2020. The transformation of my business happened last year. I kind of was holding steady at 10 to 12. And I've been in it now going on 5 years. And last year, I had to really take ownership of my business, that it's mine. I'm a business owner, and changing that perspective of being an employee. So how I transformed my business was really staying diligent on lead generation. I don't like making phone calls. It's not my thing. So what I did is I did events. So quarterly events helped me pick up the phone, gave me a reason to call. Because if I felt like I was just calling just to say, hi, do you have anybody who needs to sell, buy, or invest? I felt so gross. And then you could feel like the moment you feel it, you say it without saying it. And you could tell people would feel that way. And I was like, how do I make this more enjoyable and more fruitful for myself? So I added events, quarterly events. So I still do open houses, love to do them. A lot of follow-up. That's fun for me because I'm like, we have connected. Let's keep connecting. And then events. has really transformed, because now I get in front of people's faces, and even if I annoy the snot out of them, I still get remembered. And so that's where I do a lot of my smart plans of follow-up, because there's the motto that says there's no bad leads, it's just bad follow-up. And that really stuck with me, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not following up with them, somebody else will. And I've encountered that multiple times where they're like, oh, I wish you would have called me sooner because I just listed my house with so-and-so. Or I've had that happen and they had a horrible experience, unfortunately, with that agent. And then they're like, we wish we'd have used you. Please keep connecting with us. I'm like, well, at least you had to learn the lesson. Sorry, not sorry. But I think that has helped just kind of stay consistent. Time over task, I think is the saying. For the events, so I usually do them quarterly. So quarter one obviously is like March Madness. So usually we've done a TV giveaway, or we've done kind of like a basketball themed basket. That's been super successful. And then come quarter two, that's springtime. And so what we've done, I've tested it out where I've done a spa giveaway, like a Mother's Day spa giveaway. This last year we just did 2 giveaways in the same package. So we did golf and then spa. And they could choose to enter both. They could enter one. They could double their entry if they wanted to, those types of things. And then quarter 3, I took off just because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a quick break because I wanted to do a client appreciation event and I ran out of time. I did not plan it right. And then my quarter 4, I did a cash giveaway for December. So how the follow-up or leading to the event looks is I plan it out on whatever day I'm doing it. So let's say I did it March 21st. Well, I plan 4 weeks prior, and that's where I start my smart plans for command. I do my social media advertisement. I do my texts. I do my calls. So I plan it all out on what it looks like. And I'm physically calling my database, which I love. Certain people, I'm like, we're picking up that phone and we are calling. And that just forces me to do what I'm supposed to do, my job. And so that's where each day I take my database number and I count how many business days I'm going to work and divide it by that amount. So then I know I need to make 20, 35 calls or what have you. And then I automate everything else. So text messages are automated through command. Emails are automated through command. Social media is automated through Creator Studio through Facebook. So I use Canva for a lot of those social media posts and ChatGPT. I leverage with that because I don't want to sit there and think about it. And the rest just kind of go. So leading up to the event, they get an email a week. They get a text reminder the day of to say, hey, reminding you, make sure you're calling our phones. And I only do it for 3 hours. Reason being is I do not want to sit by my phone the whole day, because I did that one time and I had people who wanted to go look at homes and I already pigeonholed myself. So I didn't want to do that. So I want to free up whether it's, 9 to noon, noon to 3, 3 to 6, what have you. And I found great success in that because a lot of people make sure to call and then they tell people about it, which then is helpful because then it adds to my database. What they do is they just call our business line and I just ask because I want to keep my database updated. If they've moved, I want to know about it. If they haven't used me, why? No, I'm just kidding. But I will do, what's your name? What's your best contact information, phone number, email. And then that's just so that I keep my database consistent and updated. Because a lot of things change. And they may be like, oh, I canceled my number. Here's my new number. Or here's my old email. I've had that where they're like, I had to erase that email because I got married. And so I'm like, awesome. I just need your new email. And then I update my database. Our biggest one was quarter 4. So this past December for the giveaway for cash, which everybody loves cash, especially during Christmas time. We had over 100 people call in. And then we had 38 referrals pop in from that. Just asking the simple question, hey, while I've got you, do you happen to know of anybody who has questions about the 2025 real estate market that's coming up? There's a lot of noise. So we just want to make sure that we are here to help. Like, actually, so-and-so. One of them was a sign call who I've never met in my life. And she goes, actually, my friend has been looking for land in St. Croix County. Do you help with that? Absolutely, I do. So it's kind of fun to see how I come from a perspective of helping rather than taking. And so the giveaway helps to, really promote that, being like, hey, here's an opportunity for me to give you something, but also how can I help others? Doubled my production. So I went from 2023, I think I only did 10 sides. And then in 2023, I was busy planning a wedding. And then we had some deaths in the family and, just a lot of life happened. So real estate kind of was super priority, but I wasn't doing my job. And you noticed. And then 2024, I did 20 transactions, both sides. And I got more listings. So I got to experience, I stepped into the uncomfortable because I'm used to buyers. I've perfected that. I'm like, I could do it in my sleep. Listings intimidated me because that's your house and you're stuck with it. You're not moving on from it. And learning that. So it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of growth that happened production wise, but also personally in my own business, which was exciting. My dad actually started us in the industry selling new construction. And I've always loved, that's where my interior design, scratch comes from. I just love new things. New homes, they're always beautiful. And I've done the parade of homes literally all my life, tour of homes in Wisconsin. And I just like keeping up with the trends. And my dad started new construction. My parents brought us to open houses, parade of homes. We sat there, played with my Barbies, the whole works. And when we had our house fire, I got to experience the interior design side, but also being part of the construction process, which was kind of exciting because you get to see it all come to fruition. All the ideas actually happen. And so when I first started out, I partnered with a builder and loved it, but I realized quickly that I did not have my balance yet of existing in new construction. And so I had to take a step out of new construction. I helped buyers still do new construction, but I wasn't representing a builder at the time. And now I've stepped into that again and being able to kind of have existing and new construction, but they work in tandem is what I've noticed. Is whatever's happening in the new construction world, on average, 5 to 6 months later, the existing world sees that. So it's kind of fun because I get a little glimpse into the future of what's to come. So it's a lot of fun. And a lot of my creative juices get to flow in the new construction world, just helping my clients along the way. But I also get to pair that with the existing side of a lot of first-time home buyers who may be, purchasing old grandma's house. And they're like, oh, I don't like the avocado green appliances. I'm like, oh, well, we can fix that. That is possible. And helping them envision things that they may not have seen before. So it's fun to have the balance. And now I feel like I can actually achieve both successfully, creatively, but successfully, where I'm at in my business. As people, we want to cover up the bad because it's easier. It looks prettier if it's not in your face. But it's funny to see all the challenges because I've faced in my life, like quick high level for high school. 9th grade, my grandpa passed away from pancreatic cancer. And then my sophomore year of high school, I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder that took me out of my 10th grade year. They almost held me back. And I was like, absolutely not. I do not want to be in high school longer than I have to. And then my junior year of high school, our house burnt down. So we lost everything. So it was kind of like a bing, bang, boom of circumstances. And now where I'm at, I can look back on those and appreciate those trials and how they do shape you as a person. And then actually the beginning of 2024, we lost my grandma unexpectedly. She went in for a surgery that unfortunately went awry and lost her, which that was not on our 2024 bingo card. And so 2024 was my biggest year in real estate, but it also was my hardest year because also just got married. So there's a lot of changes with that, which, premarital doesn't necessarily warn you for. And then how to handle grief. And then we had to put our dog down in July unexpectedly, had internal bleeding, which it's like, okay, let us just calm down. But I think that those trials and those, things put into perspective, it kind of checks you. Like, hey, are you in order? Are you okay? And allowing yourself to feel them. And my mom always would have the saying, like, have your 5-minute funeral, but life does continue and you need to keep going. And so it's not that the grief or the feelings go away. They just get less intense, then less fresh, if you will. So I think that it's just, yes, this happened, acknowledging it and feeling the emotions, but not letting them overtake you has been a big mantra in my life of like, hey, you will face things. It's a guarantee. Life will happen. But how you react and counteract to them, that will set up your trajectory. And so I think having the mindset of, yes, this is temporary. It sucks. I don't love it, but I know tomorrow's going to be a new day. And if you have the perspective of learning from it rather than, but it's easier said than done. I mean, going to 2024, early 2024, Ayden, and telling her that, she'd be like, go fly a kite. But it does get better. And I think having the perspective of glass half full, but that's just my mentality. It will get better, and it could be worse. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, could it get worse? Especially during that short period of time. I'm like, what in the world is next? But we were able to help so many families, especially our house burning down. Ironically, someone in our church, their house burnt down while we were in our rental. So we took them in for a couple of days because they were needing to sort through it. So we're able to help and give back in that way of being like, yeah, I've been there. And this is how I got out of it. Let's help. Let's walk together and get out of it together. Keep going. You don't have to know everything. That's been I love to have all the facts. I'm a high C on the disc, so I need to know it all before I can execute anything. And I would get paralysis by analysis heavily. I was like, well, I don't know what a buyer agreement holds. Like, I can't do that. You got to go. You got to do it. And you better, I mean, there's of course practice, but the bold law of failing forward. So that's where I'd be like, you don't have to figure it all out. Get your butt into gear. Go out there and get business. Stop standing in your own way. Get it done. Because there's so much on the other side. Like, you have so much. And then the self, doubts of being like, well, I'm only, 23. Are they going to actually trust me to sell the biggest asset of their life? Such a limiting mindset, because there's people who are, 80 years old and only have sold 5 homes. But they're like, I've been in the industry for 40 years. Okay, well, your years of experience does not equate to the inventory that you have sold. So that would be the biggest thing I would say. Get it done. Get your butt into gear and get to work. If you are in your pit of life or in kind of the mundaneness of real estate, there's all agents that I've talked to, especially last year, they're like, that was my worst year of real estate. And it was kind of jarring for a lot of people. I think that just to encourage you, that just to keep going and keep on keeping on. And there's a whole, especially in our own brokerage, there's a whole community supporting you. And we want you to succeed. But we can't make you succeed. You're the only one who can decide that. But we're rooting for you. So get it done and do it. So when I'm on the phone with an agent, I'm like, I was them. And sometimes still am. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That is hard. That is unfortunate. And what's our solution? Sit and wallow or move forward?